Okay, so today we just keeping this chapter talk about the delegate and the lambda expression. Okay, so I think this part is very important since when you go to the industry, there's many recruiter will ask you what is encapsulation and what is anomaly, um, anonymous, the method. Those are very important when you really get into the programming. Okay, especially the the delegation. Okay, so first we just go some review. Okay, so how to declare delegate. Okay, so this is very similar when you declare um, class reference, right? So we use the keyword delegate. Okay, keyword delegate with delegate name and with the method parameter. Okay, because we want this delegate can be represent a, a method, right? So if you want to delegate a method, this method have to has the same return type with same signature. Okay, so that means as long as you have same return type and the same parameter, okay, you can use this delegate to represent any of the method that match this return type and signature. Okay, so once you declare a delegate, okay, you should initialize this delegate. Okay, it's very similar if you declare object, you declare a reference, you need to assign them a specific object, right? So this is very similar, but to delegate, you need to assign them a method, okay, which match their return type and the parameter. Okay, so in this one, there's two ways you can do, okay, to initialize this delegate method. Okay, there's one way you can do. You're just using a keyword and your delegate name with method. Okay, so it's very similar. You create the object of the class, right? So that's another way you can do. It's more straightforward. You can directly assign the method to that delegate. Okay, silly example. So in this example, we have one delegate over there has returned nothing, right? Then you have two delegates you create. One is call one, another is call two. So we use two different ways to initialize these two different delegates, right? So one of them, you just put this method add into the parentheses. Okay, so you will be aware, okay, this method have to match with delegate you declare, right? First, return nothing, return nothing. Second, they all, their signature all inputs the integer, two integer, right? Integer A, integer B. So integer A, integer B, which means they match this definition of delegation, right? So you can directly put add into there. Or another way, we can directly sign the method there. Okay, when you sign, you don't have to put this parenthesis into. Okay, just method name. Okay, only method name. Once you assign the method, you can just call the delegate using that delegate name. Okay, so we create two delegates there, right? Once you want to call the method, you don't have to call the directly, this add method, right? You call the delegate, which your name is cow1 and cow2. Then you put the parameter into there. Once you put that parameter there, basically there's follow this same signature you declare for the delegation. Okay, so this gives you some idea what is encapsulation. What is encapsulation? Why we should doing this rather than we just directly call the add, this method add. Yeah, James? Mm-hmm. Yes. What do you want to say? Yeah? What? Oh, why we need using this way? Why do we need encapsulation? Okay, so encapsulation is very important. Okay, so it happened in our daily lives a lot. For example, when you drive in car, do you know when you when you switch the transmission from R, okay, to the L to the N, do you know exactly how they work, or you just know how to transmit? No, right? You know the transmit, but you don't know how they transmit, right? Because they encapsulate this how, okay, and it represents this simple command for you, okay? You switch to the R, switch to the L, right? Switch to the N, right? So this is a way they help you to communicate the very detail of the things, okay? How to communicate with car. For you, your only thing you need to understand, okay? I switch the transmission. You don't have to know exactly how they work. It's very easy for you, right? But doesn't matter to you, like detail of how to do the transmission, how they pass the message to the engine. Basically, no, right? You only want result. When I want to run, I just put the run. When I go to reverse, I go to reverse, right? You don't have to know the detail, right? Like James said, is the concept why we need encapsulation in the open source project. Okay, some projects we only need them to do and get the result we want. We don't have to know exactly how they get those results. If they reveal the detail of the algorithm, what happened? what happened? James? Yes. You know, probably competitor can use them, can steal their idea. And most important thing is for the other user, other developer, they can change the algorithm by themselves. They can easily to trace the source code and change them, right? It's very similar when we're using the setter and the getter, right? That's the reason we need encapsulate those variable into the method. For the delegation, we encapsulate the method into the delegate method. We hide the detail of the method and represents using one delegate, right? That makes sense? Okay, so there's something you need to beware. Okay, since there's two delegates there, can we combine them together? Since they all using the same method and the same delegate type. The answer is yes. We can combine them together and multicasting them to a one delegate instance. Okay, so in this example, we have a delegate which we name Rex delegate. Okay, we get the height and weight. Okay, so basically we use this two parameter. We can calculate two different the results. One is area, another is perimeter. They both use height and weight, right? If we can combine them together, something like this, we put two methods into this delegate. Then we use the same parameter. They will get us two different results. One is for the area, another is for the perimeter. Okay, using only one call of delegate, right? Okay, so basically based on this code, you don't know exactly what's the method inside. You could guess there's only one method or multiple methods, right? But you can tell all the methods relate to the rectangle algorithm, right? Make sense? Great. So then we talk about what's anonymous method. Okay, the anonymous method, you don't have to give a name. Instead, we're using keyword to declare which is anonymous method. Okay, the keyword is delegate. Then you put parameter over there. Then you write the code. Okay, so it's very different when you declare or when you write a method, right? When you write a method, you need, for example, access modifier, right? And the return type. Then give a method name. then you declare, okay, what's parameter inside. Then you write the body of the method. Okay, instead of that, we're using a nominus method. You don't have to declare the access modifier and return type in here, because the delegate, you should declare them at first, right? Look at this example. We already declare a delegate pet animal, okay, which you already declare return type and the parameter you ask user to put. Once you're doing that, you don't have to declare here the return type again, because this delegate will assign to the P, which should match with this delegation you declare as first, right? So in this one, we write our method in line. Okay, so this delegation should be matched with this one, and return nothing. So you can call the P the similar way you call a delegate, right? Once you're doing that, you don't have to like call the method again, right? If you want to declare another method which relate to this pet animal delegate, you can do the same thing. Okay, this saves you a lot of time, make your method more compact, because you don't have to write the access modifier, return type again and then again. Instead, you already declare as the first one, right? And make your logic more clear, because this one will do from by sequence, line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4. Then you do this one. Instead, if you call some method, probably from another class, right? That's not easy. You trace down how does method work. But this, you just put some method into here. Once you use them, you know, okay, we just put there, then we print out the, then print out this, right? You don't have to, go to another class, trace that method, then link the parameter together. You can directly, as a sequence, you find out what parameter you want to put, and get a result more straightforward, right? Make sense? Question? Yeah. Okay. Then there's a function related to the delegate. Okay. So this is what we call the building generic delegate type. Okay. So this type, which means they already declare this func is delegate. You don't have to declare or customize your delegate again. Okay, look at this example. In this example, you see here and here. So this is a method, right? And this method will directly give to a delegation which we called add. Okay, here in the beware, the first parameter data type, second parameter data type is match to the method you declare. And the last data type is return type of the method, which is here. Okay, so basically, if you want to convert this one to the delegation, it should be delegate int and give a delegate name int and int b, right? So we get rid of this part. Instead, we gave the building generic type we called func. Okay, we can directly declare them as delegation and give the parameter and the return type in the bracket. Okay, then you can just assign the method to be delegate. Okay, after that, you can see we can directly call the delegate add, which you assign this method sum there, right? So 10 and 10. What will result? What's the result for this delegate? What result will print? What? 20, right? Because this delegate right now there's only one method there, right? Which is sum. Okay, so basically it's 10 here, 10 here, 10 here, 10 here. You plus 10 plus 10. Okay, which return is 20. Okay, return type is int. Result, return type is int. Okay, so in here, only thing you call is delegate. All right, and you don't have to declare or customize your delegation by yourself. Instead, you just call the func and make the parameter data type and the return type in one line. Okay, and enclosed with bracket. Okay, there's another one. Is also the building delegate type. Okay, so this will be very similar to the func, but they do not return anything. Okay. Look at these two codes. So one, this part of code, we're using the traditional one, okay? Which means we customize a delegate print and we assign a method there, then call. And for this part, if we're using the action, you don't have to use this line. Okay, let's step is same. Instead, you get rid of this customized delegation declaration, right? This is very important. Once you declare, when you're doing a very large project, sometimes you don't know whether you declare a delegation or not. Okay, sometimes one project they has, if you want to customize delegation, okay, probably like over 10, 20, sometimes it's not easy to organize. Sometimes you only use once. You don't know, right? So we can use this generic building delegate type, okay, to help you to write a delegation, right? For the func, you can declare with the return type. What's the return type? For the action, there's no return type, okay? But you can declare how many parameters you want, okay? Another one, predicate. Okay, this is another one, but they have a return type, only return Boolean, okay, and must take a parameter. So look at this code. This delegate this is uppercase method. Okay, so this method return only one, return the Boolean, right? So once we use that, only thing we need to do, first match this method parameter, then assign this method there. Okay, once you call this delegate name, put there. Okay, so is there any idea gave to you, like for this example, if, for example, if I have another method which can help you to determine is uppercase. We can use same delegate, but different method body. So for the user, they don't know exactly what type or what the algorithm to determine the uppercase, right? But they know, okay, as long as I call this delegation, I can get the result I want. Okay, so this is an example of the encapsulation, right? You only need to know, okay, something, what's the result you want when you call this delegation, or right? But you don't have to know the detail, how they get this result, right? For another example, as I said, the Tesla they gave the open source for the pilot driving, right? So one of the feature they said, okay, recognize the lane. Okay, so the result, there's only one result or two, which is true or false, right? But do you know how they get true or false? No, you don't have to know, because as a programmer, we only need to know, okay, whether this is a land or not, whether this land belongs to you or belong to another car, right? We need to know the result. We don't have to know how they get the result. If you put too much things, okay, to get this result, you ask developer to do, they will get lost, right? Because you get this one result, probably you write 10,000 lines to get this one result. If you want to get overview this 10,000 lines, it takes times and easily gets you into the trouble, right? And for the developer who designed this method, they also has a risk because they cannot sure someone understand or not. They put some wrong code over there, right? And merge them together. If you're using encapsulation, you don't have to think about this, right? You only need to know what this method, what this delegate return. That's the value we want, right? Correct? So some of you maybe have some experience, okay? You look up some method. For example, the method return the maximum in a math class. Did you really care about how they get the maximum number? No, right? Because I only need to know, okay, I want to get the maximum number for my project. I don't care how they get this number, how they get the result, as long as I can complete my assignment, my project. Okay? So you need to know the importance of encapsulation and what's the example of encapsulation as well. Okay, if someone asks you. Okay, if you give some very specific example, they will trust you already use and understand this concept, which is very important for the object-oriented programming. Okay, so then is the concept we called lambda expression. So basically, is the shorter way representing anonymous method. Okay, since we know anonymous method is delegation in a C#, right? So let's take a look at this example. So this example, we declare a delegate, which we name is stu. We take the parameter student, right? Then we want an anonymous method for this delegation. Okay. So this is an anonymous method. Okay. Anyone can tell me what stats will be returned? What this one trying to do? Oma?
I guess the student's a class, and because the class, you have to reference between that class, student has an age property, so it checks if the student is, if the student is a student, so I'm guessing the student's age has to be greater than 12, unless it's when you're classified as a student.
Yes. So this one, basically we take the object of student, right? And get the age. Age is from 12 to 20. If this one and check this is return true or false, right? And the return as boolean, right? That right? When you're trying to create an anonymous method, you need to make sure this delegation, you have to match return type and parameter, right? So this one, parameters over there, return type, true or false, right? This match, okay? But there's a way we can do make this line much easier to write, which is a lambda expression. Okay, so lambda expression, you can see here, the parameter is right here. Method body right here. They get rid of the keyword delegate, get rid of the class name, get rid of the parentheses, get rid of return, right? So the syntax is, first you need argument. Okay, what's the parameter? Okay, using the equal and the great sign to separate the argument with the expression. Okay, in the expression, you need to make sure this need be matched with the return type. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, think about this question. How to write a simple sum method taking two parameters. Can we write this method using the lambda expression? Okay, so if I tell you this method is return int and the order parameter is int, how to write this method in traditional way? Guys, how to write this method in traditional way? How you write a method? Okay, first we do method, right? Public int sum int a int b, right? Then we return a plus b. Okay, in a very simple version, right? This is what we do, right? Okay, then if we want write a delegation, how we write? So we need a delegate, right? So public delegate int delegate name with int a and int b, right? Then we write what? We need to declare delegate, right? Guys? Come on, look at here. Okay? Don't look at your screen, okay? There's nothing on your screen. You got a method, right? You declare a delegation. How to declare a delegation? Int A and int B, right? When you declare a method, how you initialize this method to the delegate? How? Hmm? Called delegate, or you assign a method. Okay, so for example, this method we write name is add. Sum A, okay, something like this. Okay, then you call A with 5, 5. Right? That traditional way, right? We're using a delegation, correct? Okay. If we try using the lambda, okay, how can we do? First of all, we're using anonymous method, right? How to delegate int A and int B. Return A plus B, right? It's one line. We can represent this method, right? You don't have to write this method again, okay? But if we're trying to make as lambda expression, how can we do that? So basically, we need to change this delegate, right? As we said, when we change the delegate, we can delete the delegate, right? Delete parentheses, delete the return, right? Instead using equal and great, right? Okay, that's much easier. Okay, that's the reason. Okay, you need to know how to read the delegate method. Okay, if you don't know about the delegation or anonymous method, you have no idea to convert them into the lambda. Okay, step by step, right? You know the delegate, then you know the anonymous method, then you know the short version of anonymous method using the lambda expression, right? Delete the delegate, right? Delete the data type, only return the method body. Delete return. Okay, so lambda expression can be used for the Java, C#, can be used for the JSON, LINQ, other database. Okay, if you would use the, for example, someday you would be the all-stack developer, lambda expression is very important. Okay, eventually you guys will review other people's code. If someone using lambda, if you don't understand how you continue with, with their code, right? I didn't request you have to use a lambda. Okay, this is the thing. I didn't request you have to use a lambda, have to use in delegation, have to use in some like a method, right? But it's important you should know what is lambda, what is the other method, what's the concept. Because someday you review someone's work, other one using those concepts. If you don't understand, you cannot understand how they write this code. What this code try to express, right? This is important. Maybe right now, even I tell you, okay, you have to use this one. Using this one maybe save you much time. You don't know like why I have to. I can use it another way, which is the way I'm most familiar with. I better at, right? But someday you have to work with the other guys as a team. Sometimes your project manager, they ask you have to use a lambda expression because in our projects we follow this unified way. Okay, that's the reason. Okay, sometimes you say I'm good at Python, but your team asks this team, okay, you have to write in C#. So great, you have to learn the C# very quickly, right? So you need to know the concept and the syntax. Okay, maybe right now you don't have to understand why I have to. Okay, but you have to take care of this. What is the lambda expression? Okay, right? Make sense, guys? Great. Then we're using lambda expression can be very easily to write a method with delegate building type, right? For example, what's this line trying to make? The first line. Can you try to interpret? James?
Does it take three values and then add two of them together and return something?
Okay, it's 3 or 2 value. Okay, so func, the first 2, okay, is the parameter you want to take. The last one is return type. Okay, so in here, first, this is anonymous method using the lambda expression, right? So take a 2 parameter, which should match, okay, They are the int. Then this is the body. Okay, we take the parameter x and y and pass them and return a result. If we write as a normal method, right? So we want to get the results x plus y, right? So if we want to call them, you just the sum 5, 6. This one is return int, and a would be 11, right? It's much simple, right? If you want to write down this one, some people using the delegate, the keyword delegate int a, int b, and write like a method, you need a return x plus y, right? Okay. The traditional way, we're writing the anonymous method, right? But we can convert them into a lambda expression, right? Delete, 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 delete. That's our lambda. Okay. Then tell me what's this line trying to do. Yes? Mm-hmm. It doesn't return anything. Okay, you do the same thing, but it doesn't return anything. So basically, this is return okay. So using the lambda, you can do something like this. If you already declare doing a false, okay. So if x is equal to something, here you can just assign false. A to the true, right? Because we can take a rate of return. Okay, so in somehow, if you want to change to this one, you can do it like this. Okay, so basically, anonymous method is for many experts users. So like senior developers, they really like to use this, okay, because it's very straightforward, very compact, okay, and reduce some many code and make your code very clean and easy to follow, right? As long as you know this syntax, right? Because you see there's 2 lines, only 2 lines, but you're using another way. You need to write some method in this block, right? And one of line for the delegate to customize this function and action, right? Then you write a delegate part, right? Basically 3 parts. You need to link them together. If you're using this way, only 1 line. you do these three part things, right? Also, these three part, you need to look over because sometimes method maybe not belong at the same class, right? And delegation most time at the first beginning of the class, right? You move them together. Sometimes you probably is not easy for you to write a big program because you need to go over this class, try to make sure this class match with that class method, the signature, right? You look over and back and forth. Sometimes maybe will just break your logic, right? Instead, you're only using one line. You can do all the things, right? Probably, maybe right now you can understand, okay, or you can't. Okay, once you program a lot of code, 10,000 lines, you will know this is very great advantage. Okay, right? Any question? Yes, James. No, you cannot inherit. Okay, but this is another benefit of it for the delegate is, okay, if you think about the last class, we can use the delegates as parameter to pass. Think about it. When you pass a delegate, can basically you pass the method, right? But can you pass the method in a normal class? No, right? Because delegates is a reference to the method. In the other way, there's no way you can use and give a reference to as a parameter, right? So, give you some hint. When you're using a C++, there's something called a function pointer, right? So delegate is a function pointer using. So that's the reason they can give the reference to the method. But for the Java or other things, it's not easy, except we're using the delegate. Okay. Okay. Question? Yes. What do you mean like multiple times? Yeah, you can call multiple times. Okay, for example, here, the sum, you can put 5, 6. Then next line, you can put 6, 4. Okay, so you can call, once you call them, you basically call a method which reference point to this delegates, right? You call multiple times. It's the same thing when you call a method. You can call them multiple times, right? Any other question? This is a new concept, right? So for most of you, I think. So if you know this, I think you should be able to handle the C++ very easily. Okay, because C++ is an OOP as well. Most the structure is the same. Okay, I think that right now still many companies they prefer some students they have a ability to write some programming in C++. You can try to learn by yourself. Okay, I think this is most important for the C++. Otherwise, for me it's the same as Java and C#. Okay, and the C# basically they combine the C++ and the C a lot. Okay, this is the concept for C and C++, which is function pointer. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so right now I still think about like whether I should give you guys a big project. Okay, um after next week. I'm trying to design a one which everyone can do this, and you can use all the technique concept you learn this class. Okay, but I don't want to push too hard. Okay, I still design them. So hopefully by this end of the week or next week I can give. So leave you guys like 3 weeks to do this. Okay, so after that, maybe some simple question like a lab assignments, just let you guys familiar with some new concept, and give some quiz. Okay, so the important things quiz. When you're doing a quiz, you have to read the book before you're doing the quiz. Okay, that's the reason some people take a quiz for like 10 minutes. Someone take using the 40 minutes for you have to read the book, because when I go over the PowerPoint, I just pick up something very important I want to say, and some of them you probably won't understand, only read the book. Okay, so just make sure read the book. If you understand this concept, you can skip. If you don't understand, maybe something you can check the PowerPoints, then read. Okay, this is a learning experience. Okay, all right. Question. Good. That's for class today.